ask you about your experiences as an HBCU student at the North Carolina A&T. Tell me about it.
Okay, so honestly, I grew up in a predominantly white area. I've always been in touch with the culture because I'm surrounded by my family and my church and all of that. But in terms of school, I've always gone to predominantly white schools. That's just how it folded. I went to Grassfield High School, nothing against Grassfield High School, but I've always gone to predominantly white high schools. And so of course, the topic of HBCUs isn't really stressed at all. We don't get much experience with HBCUs coming from a predominantly white high school. And so A&T, honestly, it was on my radar, but A&T and Howard were the only two HBCUs I applied to. Only probably because of the lack of education that I had about Howard HBCU, honestly, which is something I didn't completely realize until I started attending. But once A&T offered me the full ride, I just knew that was a sign. That's where I needed to be. I went to A&T, and I would say it's the best experience of my life, and it's the best decision I've made in my life. Just being around so many other people that look like me, but are so different at the same time. I think that's what I've learned the most, that like, while we're all black, we're still all different. Because I think society tries to group black people into being 1, 2, or 3 certain ways. Drug dealers, sports players, or other negative things, you know? And so I think what being at my HBCU really taught me was that we're all different, but we're all here for the same goal, which is to thrive in whatever we're doing. And I think that's what HBCUs are so important for. It's a safe space for us to really thrive and come into our own together. The support is unmatched. Like if anyone at A&T has any type of business, 95% of the campus will retweet your business. They'll tell their friends about it. If they have the money, they'll support it just because that's how the culture is. And I'm sure it's like that at many HBCUs that we're all there to help each other succeed and get to that next step in our lives, whatever that is.
Your freshman year in college will be an extremely memorable one because the school year was interrupted by a global health crisis. Tell me what you were experiencing, particularly on campus at the onset of the pandemic, and how you've been managing self-quarantine / isolation.
I would say the pandemic probably came at the worst time possible. The energy on campus around, I don't even know, was it March? Was March when COVID started?
Yeah, it was. Well, that's when the you-know-what hit the fan, but I heard about it as early as December 30th, 31st. But...
Well, yeah, you're right. Yeah, so I meant that, like when we got started getting sent home. So yeah, March, I would say the energy on campus was unmatched. I don't know, it was just something about everyone was starting to come together, positive vibes everywhere. Everyone was starting to handle their business. I seen so much good news from my fellow students on Twitter just about them maybe getting internships or businesses they were starting. Like everything was going so great. COVID came and kind of just like wrecked all of that. But one thing I'll say is that NCAT has, for the most part, managed to stay connected and unified throughout the whole time. I think that's something that COVID that's a positive in the whole negative situation, is that we've seen that we can all still come together and be together through a bad time like this.